What is going on, everybody? It's TheZachMichael here. Today, we're going to be making an R&B melody loop using Output Portal. And we're going to be using presets from Portal that are actually in my banks available for purchase on my site, elizabethrecords.net. But even if you don't use those, there's tons of fire presets within Portal, and you can also create your own. And I'm just going to kind of show you some of how I use Portal to create very ambient R&B style melodies. First, we're just going to find a pad. This is a pretty solid one to use. So what we're going to do is pick a scale. I want to make something in E minor. I like using a lot of minor scales just because it suits what I'm looking for. So we're going to use E minor today. Kind of get our bass notes down. We're just going to kind of create very basic chords here. The last one here, we're going to add the first, third, the fifth, and the seventh on top of it. It's like a bigger, more full sounding chord. Minimize the velocities. We're gonna lower the speed of this heavily to like 122. And I'm a big person who would make a lot of my loops mix as I go. The first things I want to do is just kind of cut out some of that high sound there, which, although it sounds cool and adds some character to the pad, it's not really what I'm looking for here. And nextly, just gonna add a little bit of reverb and then just kind of turn this down so it's not as much. And then next, let's just add Portal to the pad right away. I'm gonna go on one of my banks. And just kind of run through presets. I like this one. I'm gonna turn up the dry wet, and I'm also gonna turn this reverse on. Kind of move this to get the percents where I want. I like how that sounds. The thing about Portal is you can create very, very subtle ambient differences in a sound and take something that's already interesting and make it like more interesting. It creates just more variations. I mean, it's a granular synthesizer, so it can do a lot of different things to a sound. But that's kind of like a main use of it, is to make things more interesting and just have more character to it, which is definitely something I want to do when I create R&B stuff specifically. Because I don't like to crowd my R&B stuff with a lot of different sounds. So by having like each sound have slight more character and uniqueness to it, I don't have to add as many layers. So now we're gonna throw this synth bass, and I'm just gonna take out the highs like that. Now, can I add Portal to the synth bass? Yes. Sometimes I add Portal to synth basses, a lot of times I don't, but let's see if we can find a preset that we like. This one kind of works. Is it like a bit more of a swell? Kind of has more rhythm to it now. I could get behind using. I'm gonna turn down the dry wet though. Yeah, that's all right. Then we're gonna go into arcade, and let's try to find like a nice little vocal that we can add on here. I'm gonna go into hooked, and I kind of have a bass idea of how I usually go about processing stuff from arcade to make it sound unique and a little more different. So first we're going to just take out some of the highs, which is just something I like doing on a lot of my R&B stuff. I like adding a lot of reverb to kind of drown it out. Just works for what I'm going for. And we can add Portal after if we find something that makes sense. Process things more. That. We're just gonna mute the synth bass for now. And maybe add even another layer of Portal. Sometimes I put Portal on every sound, sometimes I just put it on one. That adds like this crazy like higher pitched background texture. This one actually sounds really good. Pilot preset that I made. I like that. makes the vocal a lot more dynamic. And you can even adjust the dry or wet to make that more prevalent. I'm not going to make it more prevalent for this sample, but it's an option if you wanted to. And lastly, we're going to add one more layer to this. This is something I've been doing a lot recently, which is basically like creating a kind of like a tonal hit. So I use this pad a lot of times. What I'll do is just put this like right like this on the 1, just turn it down a lot. Like it's more of those sounds that you feel opposed to hear. And most of the time I don't do too much processing to this. Sometimes I'll add like a ton of reverb. Kind of play with the settings. And sometimes, probably like one of my most used cases for Portal actually is this. Like vocals and this sort of tonal thing are kind of the primary place that I actually use Portal. That's pretty cool. But I want to go ahead and just tweak. Do something like that. Could work maybe over here more. Yeah, we'll go with that. And I'm just going to go into an EQ and kind of remove some of those. Just like that. Just like that, we kind of have a fire dark R&B sample. And what I got to do here is just so when I render this out, just put a ghost note there. So now what I do is I render out each of these sections. Now with Portal, it's a granular synthesizer, so every single time, like it can technically sound a little bit different. In like certain capacities, it obviously depends on the preset and the settings and all. But my suggestion is like render out every single section so you make sure it sounds the way you want it to. Because otherwise, like there's a chance, depending on how the person like designed it, you know, that it can go a little different each time. I just kind of arrange each section like that, and just stem it out at the end. Just like that, we have a fire dark R&B ambient sample made entirely with Arcade and Omnisphere and Portal, of course, which all the presets used were available on my site, those records are not. So if you want to purchase those, feel free to. But hopefully you guys do check out Portal, because even if you don't like buy my banks, as you can see, it comes with a ton of presets like already built in. So you can use those. I believe it's like 250 or something crazy like that. So there's a lot of those are fire as well, and you can use those. But, you know, just whatever you want to do. But that's how I use Portal to make stuff. So thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in another video. Head on over to elizabethrecords.net if you'd like to support me. You can purchase VST expansion banks, drum kits, loop kits, and MIDI kits that'll level up your production there.